Okay, so today was going to be a day that I was not going to do any videos. Not at all. Considering I had done videos Monday and Tuesday, which are normally my flex days, then I did some yesterday. I said, let me take this day off, work on what I want to do for the next couple of days. Thursday, Friday, stream on Friday, more Godzilla videos coming. I think the next few videos you can expect to see are the end credit scene video. We're going to discuss. We got the Q&A video coming for people who ask their questions in my Easter egg video, and then so on. However, a big thing happened today, which is now being called the VoxAdpocalypse. Basically, this isn't crazy. This is crazy because today was probably the first day I've ever been as active as I was on Twitter, and one of the reasons was because it was pretty slow day at work. There was a huge convention meeting going on, so a lot of people were out of the office building. And you guys know I don't really do Twitter that much. Today I did, and it's amazing because I actually saw this unfold as it was happening. So for those of you who are not in the know, basically Steven Crowder, if you don't know who he is, he's a huge right, no, I don't want to say right-leaning, conservative comedian that he has a comedy show, but he talks obviously politics. And apparently him and a person named Carlos Maza, who was a journalist for Vox, have been going at it for some time. And Steven Crowder has made fun of him, have made jokes about him, all while debunking a lot of his articles. So he would basically take his articles, debunk them, but in the process of debunking them, he would make fun of the fact that he was queer, doing jokes about him being gay or him being Spanish, things of that nature. Now, I've never seen these videos, but because I do watch Steven Crowder. I don't watch him religiously. Every now and then, if I see his video pop up in my feed and it happens to be a topic that I'm interested in, I'll watch it. But I'm not part of the whole mug club thing or any of that stuff. So now, from what I've been told, the jokes, some people thought they were borderline bad. Other people thought they were just your classic jokes that you kind of really can't say anymore. And what I mean by this is I grew up watching like Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, George Carlin. I mean, these are guys who were relentless and were raw and were no holds barred. They went after everybody. It doesn't matter if you were white, Spanish, black, doesn't matter. They goofed on all of it. They made plenty of gay jokes and stuff like this. I grew up watching these guys. This doesn't mean that I hate blacks. This doesn't mean that I hate my own. This doesn't mean I hate white people. And this certainly doesn't mean I hate gay people. They were said in the context of jokes. So I feel pretty confident that if I watched those videos from Steven Crowder, I probably wouldn't be offended because I grew up during a time where people just weren't as sensitive as they seem to be today. With that said, basically at the end of the day, this guy made a big uproar. And initially YouTube said, look, he basically wanted to have Steven Crowder removed from the platform, had a big movement start when after YouTube was Twitter bombing them about deplatforming him, this and that, calling them everything you could do. YouTube came back and told them after reviewing Crowder's channel, they didn't find anything where he was breaking their rules and guidelines. And it was the end of the story. And this guy was livid, he was pissed, made another huge uproar, got a bunch of people to follow him in this crusade, if you will. And finally, after one day, YouTube changed their mind, went and demonetized Steven Crowder's channel. However, they did not stop there. And this is where I have an issue and a big concern. They went and they actually demonetized a whole slew of YouTubers who talk in terms of maybe more conservative political views and talk out and speak out against socialism, social justice, things of that nature. Now, if you believe in socialism and social justice, and that's your right, I'm not hating on you for that. You're entitled to your beliefs. You're entitled to believe and promote and speak about whatever it is you believe. That's the beauty of freedom of speech. I may not like what somebody has to say. I may not like the person in the comment section that trolls me and calls me fat and stuff like that or any of that kind of thing. But I respect their right to speak freely. And I support it, even if I don't like what they say. This is an attack on freedom of speech. And whether you want to agree with that or not, that's fine. But the fact of the matter is, because I know what the argument's going to be. Well, Rob, they're not. It's not really an attack on freedom of speech. They still can upload videos and they still can speak freely. No, they cannot, because on top of them being demonetized, a lot of these people also had certain videos taken down. Now, I'm not saying that all these people are, they speak truth, and, a lot of them do it, make jokes, make fun, and I'm sure they say hurtful things. But if we're going to start monitoring and controlling what people say, even if they're hurtful, don't think for 1 second it's going to stop there. See, there's a term out there called hate speech. It's a very vague definition. Now, if you hear hate speech, immediately one of the things you're going to think about is, well, yeah, hate speech on the surface sounds pretty good. You don't want people, saying racial slurs. You don't want people supporting like Nazism or stuff like that. Of course not. Of course, none of us do. But that's not the definition of hate speech. In practice, and today is a prime example of that. In practice, hate speech is, I get to regulate whatever you say that I don't like or I don't agree with. That's hate speech. And that is essentially controlling what you say. See, even though these guys can still upload videos, now they have to walk on eggshells about what they say, because YouTube also told them that in 30 days they can reapply to be monetized again after they go through their channel and figure out what the issues are that got them demonetized in the first place. Essentially, anything that you've posted on YouTube that is considered hate speech, which once again is a very vague term, if you remove that and never post videos like that again, then you can get monetized. It's control. It's not freedom. Now, you can also argue, well, this is their platform. If that's what they want to do, then they're entitled to do that. That is true. But why doesn't the door swing both ways? There are content creators that are not conservative, that are, more left-leaning. And there are also some very, very highly touted channels that are branched off from bigger corporations. Like the late shows have their own channels where they highlight certain interviews or certain segments. They've all said stuff just as vile. All these other channels make fun as well. They do essentially the same thing these channels do, only for the opposite side. It's just a mirror, But they're all fine. They're all fine. Why? Why is it only one side of the aisle was chosen to be punished and the other aisle is fine? That is a very, very scary situation. And the reason is this, and even for the people on the left it is, because once these people, whether it's the government, whether it's major corporations, once they're able to succeed at controlling or outright denying anything you have to say, it's going to happen on the other side too at one point or another. Freedom of speech is a double-edged sword, but it's a double-edged sword I'm willing to deal with if it means that I can speak freely. I may not like what somebody has to say. I may disagree with it. I may think it's vile or horrible, but I'm willing to protect their right to say it. Why? Because I want to have the right to say what I have to say to counter what they have to say. That's a lot of what they have to say, I know. But you get my point. There's no reason that it has to come to this. If you really wanted to go after Steve Crowder, why punish everybody else? As far as this Carlos Maza, essentially he got an uproar because his feelings were hurt. It's basically what it comes down to. Look, I'm sure we've all been called something or have had something spoken about us that we don't like. Do we run to mommy every time? I know I don't. I either ignore it or I say something, sassy back to the person, or that's that. This is not how it should be. Not at all. And it's a lot bigger than you might think it is. I mean, it's even on the news. Because this is a big deal. This is a lot bigger than you might think it is. And this affects every content creator. Because if you think it's going to stop at anything that's just spoken politically, I mean, look at some of the things I've had to deal with on my channel. Here I am. I'm not a big channel. You guys know that. I haven't even hit 20,000 subscribers. How many times have I had to deal with Warner Brothers because Warner Brothers doesn't like what I have to say about some of their movies or their TV shows? I've had Warner Brothers attack my channel so many times. Now, there have been twice where they were in the right to do it. Every other time they've done it, and it's been a lot, I don't even know count at this point, they've been in the wrong. But because I'm a small channel and I'm not willing to pay $1,000 or thousands of dollars to take them to court for a freaking video that's got 10,000 views, I swallow it. Should I have to? No. I'll give you an example. When I did my review for Interstellar a couple of years back, I did my review much like what you're looking at now. The only difference is I had my green screen and I had a background. That's it. I didn't have any music. I didn't have any footage. And they claimed it. They did the same thing to all my Arrow reviews. Remember when I used to review Arrow? All my Arrow reviews, they did that too. For what? And I didn't even speak badly about Arrow, but they did it. So that's what I'm getting at. This right here sets a bad precedent because it's not going to stop there. If this carries on, if this doesn't get overturned, if people don't fight back or at least go to the Twitter page and state their opinion, do something, it's not going to stop with politics. Remember, I keep saying politics has invaded and the entertainment industry to a horrible degree at this point. Yes, it's always been there, but not like this. So if you think that, there's a saying, shit rolls downhill. So this is just the beginning. And the worst part is the people who are cheering that this happened today don't even realize they're going to suffer the same fate at some point. Once you give any industry, whether or the government or corporations, once you give them the victory or allow them the power to control what you have to say, that's it. Freedom is done. I do not like the fact that this went down today. And I'm hoping it gets overturned. I'm hoping all the people who suffered this demonetization and those who support them speak loudly about this, because this does not set a good precedent. This is not a good sign. This socialist movement happening in this country, I don't think people even know what socialist means. But if you want to know what it means, go look back at Russia from the old days. Go look and see what's going on in Ecuador. That's what socialism is. On paper, it sounds fantastic. It really does. Free this, free that. It's not. In practice, it's bad. And I hate to say that because I know people feel like I'm shunning socialism away. But, well, yeah, I am. I've already I grew up during the Cold War. I don't want this country to be like Russia. Sorry. I kind of like having my freedoms. I like being able to speak freely. That's why you're not going to see Lenny anymore. This definitely affects that character. And the reason you haven't seen much of him in the last year and a half is because every time I've done a Lenny video in the last year and a half, it's been yellow flagged. Yellow flag means that I have to get it reviewed to make sure it can get ads. That doesn't happen with any of my videos except the Lenny videos that I've done the last couple of years. So unfortunately, the Lenny stream on Friday is not going to happen. I got to be careful. I want to try and start maybe looking for a different platform. I'm not going to stop doing my videos on YouTube, but I'm going to start trying to rebuild my audience on a separate platform. My channel is small enough where I can afford to do that. If I had millions and millions of subscribers, that's just not feasible. But if this is where they're going here on YouTube, I want to keep doing this and speaking freely and having fun and doing content, I'm not going to be able to do it here. That's for sure. So I'll keep you informed of what my plans are. That's probably what I'm going to be working on tonight, is looking into other platforms. I know I can return to Twitch, but Twitch is not too much different. Just today they were talking about how they want to police the chat section of, and certain emotes, and it's just getting crazy all over the place. So I don't know, guys. I know these are not the kind of videos you like to see, but I would be a fool not to speak out against this, because it goes against what I believe, and it affects something I enjoy doing, and it affects other content creators that I like watching, and probably the same for you. At the end of the day, no matter what side you're on, freedom of speech should be freedom of speech for everybody. It doesn't matter what side you're on. And if you're not going to defend freedom of speech, then what are you doing in this country? That's what this country was built on. So if you're someone who may not agree with what I believe in, if you at least believe in freedom of speech, if for nothing else, do it for that, because we can never have conversations. We can never come to conclusions. We can never come to mediations and middle grounds if we don't have the opportunity to speak freely to each other. And I know that all freedom of speech is not good. It's not. You're right. But that's the kind of speech that you need to utilize your freedom of speech to talk up against, not to shut down. Shutting down is not good. It may look good when somebody's saying something bad, but it's not the kind of power you want to give to these people. It's not. Anyway, guys, we'll be back tomorrow with regular content. And I'll let you know what I'm going to be planning for the future of the channel. I'm not going to be going off of YouTube, that's for sure, but I am going to start looking at other platforms to start probably double uploading and building an audience on the other side. That way, when shit hits the fan here, if things don't happen to go in a much better direction, then I just leave YouTube and I go somewhere else. And like I said, because I have a smaller channel, I can afford to do that. But I kind of feel bad for the bigger channels who have worked hard to get to where they are, and now in one fell swoop, their livelihood was taken away. So everybody should have an opportunity to monetize their channel and the work they put into it, not being shut down because someone doesn't like what they have to say. It's just not right. Have a good one, guys.